All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Friday morning of working out with Team Tufas. I hope you're ready to do some moving today. We're going to kind of use the things we've worked on the past few weeks to warm up and work our base, and then we're going to add in some balance work to that to kind of prepare us for the final section of this specific online class, which will be next week. So today we're going to look at balance and strength. Next week we're going to look at strength in movement. So yeah, it's going to be fun. Before we get started with our moving, I'd like to introduce you to our Climber Spotlight of the Week. This week, I encourage you all to check out Rebecca Ross. Rebecca is a 30-year-old climber. She's from Portland, Oregon. She has a master's degree in epidemiology, which is fitting for these times. And she is an alpine climber. She's a mountaineer. She's climbed in Mexico, in Georgia, the country, Georgia, the Georgian Caucasus, in Iceland, and up big mountains in the United States. So she's super strong and inspiring. She's led groups. She led a group to climb the seventh highest, or the third highest peak in North America in Mexico in 2018. So she's very inspiring. She talks about in the article linked below, she talks about her starting climbing with a fear of heights. And she's a pretty new climber. She started climbing she started thinking about climbing in 2016 and really started climbing in 2017. So going from that to climbing all over the world and working on these big challenges, these big alpine challenges is very inspiring. So check out that article below. There's a great write-up on her. She has some really amazing articles in there also that she's written, how she was introduced to mountaineering, some stories about her experiences out in the wilds of the United States. She talks about failure in mountaineering communities, and she also has a lot of other great content on there. So check out that link below, and maybe you'll be inspired to become a mountaineer too. So to prepare us for our mountaineering futures, we're going to go ahead and start our practice today. So go ahead and find a nice spot on the mat or on the floor. And we're going to start with our warm-up. So we're going to start with some a little bit of movement and breath just to get us ready to do the rest of our movement. So go ahead and find a good standing position. We're going to start waking up our trunk. If we think of ourselves as a tree, we're going to be doing a lot of balancing today. So we really want to have a solid base, but our base is not just our feet. Our base is everything that is this trunk-like structure of our bodies. So we start down at our feet. So if we use the tree analogy, those are our roots. They're firmly rooted down into the floor or on the mat. Our knees are not locked. They're kind of soft, like a tree. If we were completely rigid, a wind could blow you over. So we want to allow some movement, So make sure you're not locking your knees. Make sure that you are centered. So we don't want to be leaning off to one side. We want our hips stacked with our knees, with our ankles, with our toes. Our upper body too, we don't want to be slouched or leaning to a side. We want to be straight with our shoulders really nice and relaxed. We're going to start with just some breaths. So go at your own pace. We're just going to breathe in, kind of bend the knees a little bit. Bring the arms above the head. A slight bend back. And breathe out. I'm going to do a couple of these. We're going to do the same thing with this time, bending to the side. And the other side. Two more. Good. Now we're going to do our round movement. So ready to breathe in. Bring our arms over, go all the way around. If you have to move around to keep balance, that's fine. If you want to get a wider stance so you can bend your knees. We want to bring in a little bit of momentum in this. So we're going to breathe in, and then we just slowly fall. But here, we let the gravity and the momentum of our arms swing us around. So we want not too wild, but kind of a controlled momentum. So. Switch sides. Two more. Very good. All right, so now we've warmed up our breath a little bit. We've warmed up our spine by moving it in a couple different ways. We're going to wake up, continuing with breath, we're going to wake up some of the balance muscles, our small muscles in our ankles, our knees, our hips a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and breathe in. As you breathe in, you're going to lift a foot. You can place it toes on the ground, heel up on the lower part of your calf. You can place the entire foot on your calf, or you can place your foot on your upper thigh. We want to avoid the knee area, no feet on the knees. So we're going to breathe in. You can play around with your hands here. They can be out to the sides. They can be up above you. They can be kind of toward your center. They can be down to your sides. You can also play around with your eyes. You can try to really softly try to close them slowly and feel how the balance changes. Can you close your eyes all the way? Does it feel harder or easier? If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. Take a breath in, place your foot down, and switch sides. Start with your eyes open. Play around with the hand placements and the arm placements. And then try to close or soften your gaze. Open your eyes. Go ahead and release that foot. Hopefully our muscles, our balance muscles, and our mental balance has been woken up a little bit now. All right. So we're going to go ahead and let's get my clock here. We're going to go ahead and just warm up a little bit muscle-wise, just like we always do. We're going to start with our necks. Some nice gentle circles. Switch directions. Bring the circles into your shoulders. Switch directions. Go ahead and bring your arms out. Make some big circles. You can either choose big circles or you can do small circles with the hands in a big circle. Or you can do a combination. Switch directions. Good. Give yourself a couple cross-body arm stretches. Stretching and opening the shoulders. Good. All right. We're going to go ahead and take it down to the mat. Let's go ahead and start on hands and knees. Start with a couple cat-cows to find your spine here. We're going to go ahead and walk out the arms. We won't be spending too much time on the wrists today, but we will have a couple things that are on the wrists, so we want to warm them up. And we just want to keep them loose so that whenever we do get back into climbing or we're using our wrists, they'll be ready to do work for us. And they'll be healthy and they won't get injured. Okay. Go ahead and sit back. Hands out in front. Shoulders relaxed. Hands even with your shoulders, not raised above, not below. We're going to start with some flexing. Two more. Keep those fingers up and bend just bend the top joint or the first joint of your fingers. Extend those fingers up. This time we're rotating the hands. Good. Give your arms a nice shake out. All right. The way we're going to work today, we are going to be focusing on some balance things, but an important component of balance is our core. And not only our core, like our abs, but also all of the muscles that wrap around and help support us here. Maybe you've seen like weightlifters, their belt around here to help stabilize and support them. Well, we actually have muscles there that do the exact same thing. And if they're not working for us to stabilize and support, that can cause all sorts of imbalances and problems in our body. So we're going to be waking those muscles up so that they can help us to stabilize in the balance poses that we're going to do as the second half. So we're going to start with a little core set that's kind of similar to what we did in the past couple weeks with our core things, with a couple different modifications. So we'll still be doing timed, but because we're not really doing an endurance workout here, we won't need to transition so fast. So I'll tell you the exercise before we do each one. So the first one, we're going to, let me move this. Okay. First, we're going to start sitting. And like with our hollow hold from our core set, we're going to kind of roll back. Really important that we keep the lower back on the floor. We're going to start with our legs raised. Our shoulders are up off the ground. Belly button is pulled towards the spine. And we're really focusing on squeezing our legs together, squeezing the butt, pushing, pulling our belly button down and our muscles in our lower backs down. And we're going to just push out and then push, come back. 2. Really focus on the squeezing when you get out to this extended position. Let's do 3 more. Is your lower back still on the ground? Double check it here before we do our last 2. Make sure you keep breathing. Last one. Hold, 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 and back. Nice. All right. The next one we are going to do. All right, so now we're going to wake up some of those back muscles and lower back supporting muscles with our Supermans. So you remember these from last time. Eyes towards the floor so you don't hurt our necks, and then we're just lifting up for 30 seconds, starting now. Very good. All right. Now we're going to do some bridge holds. So this is strengthen our hamstrings. Hamstrings are very important when we are doing things like heel hooking. It's really important to have a strong hamstring. So we're going to do some bridge holds. So we're going to lay down, feet kind of up, and then we're just going to come here to hold. And you want to keep squeezing, just like we did in that that hollow hold exercise. And release. And up. And release. And up. And release. Up. Do 3 more. Release. Up. Release. 2 more. Release. Last one. And release. Very nice. All right, now we're going to wake up some of those really low ab muscles. I'm going to go back down to our backs. Legs going to go straight up in the air, not over your head, right at a 90-degree. And we're going to do some cross foot touches for 30 seconds. So ready, and go. Try to leave your legs as still as possible. Kind of hard, but just try. If you put your attention there, that'll engage the muscles too. And really reach high up. Keep those shoulders off the floor. Almost there. Nice. Good job. All right. Let's see here. All right, so now we're going to go into our first balance set. This will be, we're trying not to stop between exercises in this one. We want to focus on smooth movement, keeping our breath in our movement, and also having stability without being stressed or tense. So we want to feel relaxed but strong. So that's part of the reason we woke up these core and trunk muscles first, so that we can feel them engage and help us to stabilize in these poses. Okay, so I'm gonna change this. All right. Let's see. Okay. All right, so we're gonna start standing. Let me see. It's kind of dark. Won't be able to see my head, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to start standing. And you want to have plenty of room directly in front of you and to the sides and back, actually. You want to have a little room all around you. So we're going to breathe in. Remember that good trunk supporting stance that we talked about at the very beginning when we did our breathing. We want our feet to be planted, knees to be soft. We're going to breathe in. A small arch. Come down into our forward fold. You can take it to the side a little bit just to wake up the legs. And we're going to come up and go directly into tree. So you choose a tree variation that you like. We're going to hang out here for a little bit. Part of our goal in these, because we're talking strength as opposed to like dynamic balance movement, we're going to try to hold things a little bit. And part of holding is maintaining the flexibility and relaxation to hold a pose. If we come into a balanced pose and we stay very stiff, it will be very difficult to maintain that balance. So we want to practice coming into our balance pose and keeping a little bit of movement in it so that we can keep correcting our balance. Just like we talked about at the beginning again with the analogy of the tree. If we have a super stiff tree and along comes a big wind, it can be blown down. But if our tree has some movement, it will absorb some of that energy and probably stay up. It will just have to bend a little bit. So that's what we're doing. We're keeping the bending in our movement. All right. So we're here in tree. We're going to go ahead and bring our arms up. Send that raised leg back so that we're in a high lunge. You can either keep the back heel on the ground if you feel like the back of your leg can stretch enough, or you can come up on the toe, whatever feels good for you. So even though we have both feet down, this is also a balance pose because our feet aren't in our normal standing position. So this can feel imbalanced. So we're still thinking about the balance here. We're going to shift onto that front foot and raise the back foot up. Toes pointing towards the ground. Remember, we're hanging out here for just a second. Make sure this front leg doesn't lock, that it stays a little bit soft. We're going to go ahead and turn the back foot so the toes are pointing out to the side. Keep it raised. Remember to keep some movement in there. Bring back to the front. The back toes rotate down towards the ground. We're still here. Bend that front knee. Place the back foot. Coming back. We're going to bend forward and place our hands on the ground. We're going to take that front leg back and come into a down dog. So we're lifting the same foot that has been up. So whatever foot was your steady on the floor foot, it stays on the ground now. Lift up the back foot, bend it back over you. Rotate back as slowly and with as much control as you can. Place the feet back. Come on into a plank position. Again, work with the same side you've kept down to the ground the entire time. We're going to rotate into a side plank. This is a balanced position. If you want to make it really harder, you can raise the leg. If this is already a little bit hard, you can place that foot on the mat. Place the arm back down. Come back into your downward dog. And you can hop, step, or jump your feet forward. So a hop would look like this. Here. Come back up to our standing position. Okay? Hopefully, you all can follow that fine. We're going to repeat that on the other side. So, settle into your standing position. Nice and steady in the legs, strong, but with a little movement in there. Breath in, arms up. Take a small arch back. We're dropping down into a forward fold. We're going to come back up. This time as we come up, shifting into tree on the other side. Remember, your arms can be at any of those tree positions that we talked about earlier. We're staying here for a while just to feel that balance and find out what movements and adjustments that we need to make in order to keep a little movement in balance, but to still feel relaxed and calm. All right, bring your arms up over your head. Bend that front leg, front knee, send your tree foot back into a high lunge. You can do a little bend backwards if you feel like here. We'll twist to the side if you feel like your spine needs that. Hands still above the head. We're going to shift our weight forward. Lift that back leg off the ground. Extended toes pointed towards the ground still. We're going to be here in a minute. You can either have your arms out straight or you can send them backwards. Either way. There's movement. That's perfect. We want some movement in there. It's your body making these natural corrections. Also, one side should feel different than the other. All right, we're going to transition to our side pose here, half moon. Open up, back foot, toes, swivel out. If you need to hold ground on one hand to make this pose, you still can. That's still balancing. We're going to shift to our forward position. Bend forward, place that back foot back on the ground into our high lunge. Catch your breath here, breathe. Bring those arms down and your feet back to be in a plank position. This time we're opening up go ahead and press back down into your down dog. This time, whatever foot was you were planted on the floor foot, it stays planted on the floor. You're going to lift up the other foot and bring it around back into this wild looking pose. Bring yourself back with as much control as you can. Bring yourself into your plank and transition to side plank or side star plank. Star plank, I don't know. Keep breathing. Bring that hand back down. Back to your down dog. And hop, step, or jump up to your forward fold again. Bend your knees and come back up. Good job. All right, so these are awesome poses because they help us to bring a little bit of, or a lot of strength into our balance. So hopefully you felt your legs working both in keeping strong to keep you up and in adjusting for your balance. But hopefully you also felt your core engaging and helping you out in these balance poses as well. So we're going to do one more little balance set, a different style than what we just did there. What we're going to do, let's see. Okay, we're going to start standing. So this is, again, we're working on our stability in whatever leg is planted on the floor. This is going to just work on kind of stability and balance and strength while we bring a little bit of variety into the position of our lifted leg. So choose a standing leg. I'm going to choose this leg. We're going to start with our lifted leg up and bent at 90-degree angle. Okay? And we're going to hang out here for just a bit. Your arms can be down to the sides, they can be up, they can be wherever feels like they give you the most balance. They can move around if that feels best. Now, you may ask, how does this translate into climbing? Well, sometimes you're hanging out with one foot up and one foot down. They may be on holds, but there's still an element of balance in a position like this on a climbing wall, even if our feet are both technically on solid rock or holds or whatever. So, okay, we're going to bring it out to the side. We're going to bring it as far out as possible. We're going to turn it to the back, and we're going to try to keep that same angle here with our leg. So we're not trying to change anything, just bringing our leg into different positions. Now we're going to extend the leg. And you can bend forward. This is like the pose we had in our first balance flow. And now we bring it out to the side. You can do whatever you want with your upper body here. You can stay down, you can come up, whatever feels good for you. We're just playing around with having our leg in different positions. Now we're going to bring it out to the front. And now just twist it across. We're not trying to put any torque on this knee, just to wherever it feels comfortable. Bend it again. Bring it back in. So this is just strengthening our hip for one thing, in different areas, different positions, and also working that standing leg, both in terms of endurance. It's got to stand there for a long time, keeping us stable, but also which muscles have to work when the other leg is in different positions. So remember, we're going to switch to the other side. Remember to keep your core strong. Keep it engaged. Lift that front foot up. You can do anything you want with the toes. You can point, you can flex, you can do a variety of them. It doesn't matter. Open up that leg. Send it to the back. Extend. Drop the top body. Bring it out to the side. To the front. and across the body. Now here your foot can be down or it can be up, wherever it feels most comfortable. Bend it and lift it back. Good. All right. So this has prepped us really well for next week's work. Next week, pretty soon here, we're going to get into our cool down and our stretching. But next week, we're going to be really focusing on strength and balance in movement. So, whereas today we did a lot of holding poses, we didn't rest between and we didn't completely relax. We were balancing the whole time, but we were doing a lot of semi-static holds. So next time we're going to be doing a lot more moving, a lot more fluid transitions, weight shifting, using both our arms and our legs, and trying to feel balance points and use the strength that we've been cultivating in our core and our legs and our arms and shoulders the past 4 weeks to bring all of those components together and move with them, which is ultimately what we do when we climb. So get ready, next week's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of moving. So enjoy. For now, we're just going to do our cool down. So go ahead and find a spot. Get your nice foot planted positions. We're going to come down into a forward fold. Bend the knees here if you want to. You can straighten them. Go ahead and lift one foot up and cross it over the other so we get one stretch a little bit more in one leg than the other. Switch sides for that cross. We've already done our high lunge today in our poses, so we're going to go straight into our downward facing dog. Really press those hands away, stretch, feel the stretch in the back of your legs. You can make your down dog, you have really wide legs. You can come into a really narrow down dog, whatever you feel like is giving you a good stretch. You can bend and straighten your legs, you can walk out the feet. Few more seconds here. Bring yourself forward. Come onto your hands and knees. We'll go ahead and do some cat-cows here. Go ahead and move with your own breath at your own pace. Bring some twist into it. You're gonna Go ahead and raise one arm. You're just going to place it through. This is called thread the needle. You're going to lean this arm that's placed through. You're going to lean that shoulder on the ground and just kind of stretch. This is a shoulder stretch. Put this arm out if you want. You can keep it bent. Go ahead and replace that arm and switch sides. Back up. We're going to be on our knees. We're going to do a shoulder stretch. So you can either put your arm behind your head and gently pull on the elbow. We're not really pulling even, we're just placing the arm there and letting gravity really do most of the work. Switch sides. We're going to do the same thing with the neck. So this one's very important. We don't want to be pulling on our necks. Just going to tilt our head to the side, and you're just going to put a hand on it, on the side of your head. You don't need to pull. You're just going to put the hand there and then relax your shoulder and let the weight of your arm act as a weight on your neck. And you can adjust how much you're pulling. So we don't want to be, you can adjust how much weight your arm is giving to your head, but you don't want to be pulling. This is a gentle stretch to the side. This arm can be pointed out to the side and you'll feel it more. And you can move it around to adjust where you feel that stretch in your neck. So go ahead, hang out here. Start with your hand towards the front. Then shift it to directly out from your shoulder. Towards the back. Bring it back, bring that arm in, and release the head. You do the other side. So start towards the front. Out to the side. Towards the back. Out to the side. Towards the front. Bring that arm in. And release it. A couple of really nice, gentle rolls. We want to focus those rolls in the front of our neck first. Good. All right. We're going to go ahead and enter into our twist position. So I'm starting with my right leg on top. I'm going to extend my arms. My right arm on top. And come to my twist. Unwind, press the arms back, switch our legs. Now my left leg is on top, so my left arm goes on top of my twist. Here again, remember you can play around with where your arms are, if they're up, if they're down, and choose the one that gives you the most comfortable stretch in your shoulders, kind of in your shoulder blade unwind. Use your hands to help you get out of that twisted position. We're going to go ahead and come into our front straddle. We're just going to walk our hands out to the middle to wherever you first feel the stretch, wherever it feels comfortable. Keep those legs engaged and actively pressing towards the ground. For our first side stretch, we're going to go ahead and put our hands on either side and walk our chest towards our leg. Wherever feels comfortable. Walk back up. This time our hands are going to go to the side. Place one hand on the floor and really open up your chest, feeling that stretch along your side body. Stretch that arm up over your head. Walk our hands through middle again. Remember this time. Hands on the other side of the leg. Walk your chest towards your thigh and your knee. And stop where it feels comfortable. That's here. Great. That's here. Great. Wherever you're at, it's a good place to be. Walk the hands back up. This time our hand slides along the floor. Other arm opens up. Chest opens up. That arm, send it overhead. Feeling that nice side stretch. Do a couple just slow rolls to set from side to side. Going as low to the floor as feels good. Again, if that's up here, that's great. If it's down here, that's great too. Go ahead and do two more. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. And come into a butterfly. Remember, we can press the knees down with our elbows, or bring some more movement into it by flapping the legs, flapping the knees. Also just rock side to side. That's my favorite way. Butterfly. Now, whatever you do next is your choice. You can hold a down dog. You can do child's pose. Or you can just lay on your back. We're just going to finish with kind of how we started, reconnecting to our breath and relaxing a little bit. So I'm going to choose child's pose. Keep my arms kind of engaged. Relax my forehead towards the floor and just hang out. whatever pose you're in, you can kind of engage your hands and come forward, come back into a sitting position. Open your eyes if your eyes are closed. All right, great job today. Thanks for training with Team Tufas. And we'll see you next week to do a lot of moving, a lot of balancing, a lot of integrating that strength we've been building up throughout these past weeks. So have a great weekend and stay safe out there. And I will see you again next Friday. See you.